Sword Issue 1 heads to the Sword Station 1, where Magneto arrives, welcomed by the Director of Security, Cable, hoping that Eric does survive the experience there, since if he doesn't, the boy is pretty sure he will be fired. Cable learns that Eric is there for an inspection on behalf of the Quiet Council of Krakoa, who want to see what the team have been up to on the station. The station suddenly moves as Eric begins drifting it around the planet towards Krakoa, getting it into position for them and saving fuel. Abigail Brand soon joins the group, meeting with Magneto and asking why he didn't just use a gate to get to the station, instead opting to transport himself in an orb made of steel. Eric simply asks why a man climbs a mountain when there's a perfectly good ski lift for him. He says that sometimes in life it's good to travel the harder road, and after all, if they never tested their limits, they might assume they have some. Heading deeper into the station, Eric is shown the Red Zone, which is run by WizKid, who is bonding the Krakoan plant tech with the station's original systems, finding it all is working out perfectly. Brand isn't too impressed that Takashi is sticking with his mutant name of WizKid, but Takashi wonders if she doesn't think it tests well, or if Brand doesn't think it's a marketable brand. WizKid is glad to see Magneto is there, finding it an honor to meet the mutant. Takashi shows Eric around the garden, telling him that with his Technopath powers, he can control literally everything on the station. Brand tells Eric that WizKid is one of the 6, for which she calls the Control. Eric tells Takashi it's an honor to meet him then, knowing that while he is the architect of Krakoa, the young mutant before him is the architect of Krakoa's future. Brand tells Takashi not to be late to launch pad as she takes Eric through the station, knowing what he said about Krakoa's future isn't really true. Eric knows that the 6 aren't as essential as the 5 on the island, but in the coming days the 6 will change everything for them all. Abigail thinks he means just their magic island, reminding him that she isn't a subordinate to it, since she works with the council by mutual agreement, and she doesn't work for Krakoa directly. Eric knows, yet still he is there pushing steel through a crowded sky because Brand is a mutant, and so Krakoa works for her. Brand knows that Sword picked the right time to come back since there's so much to deal with a galactic economic crash, a snark war, and something that is roaming the cosmos eating planets, and it's not Galactus. The woman says that she quit Alpha Flight since they don't have the resources for problem solving of these level threats, and besides, the superheroes always forgot to tell them what they are up to. Eric knows that she won't have that problem with them, and while she is grateful, Brand knows that this is bigger than just a single island's future, and for all of their advances, mutants are still thinking like Earthers, thinking in terms of island nations, whereas she's a spacer, thinking in solar systems, and they can't just be speaking for Krakoa, they need to speak for all of Sol. Eric knows the station is staffed by mutants, so if Sword speaks for Sol, who speaks for Sword? Brand says that they all do as they go and visit Frenzy, who is busy beating up a Skrull diplomat. Eric is introduced to the diplomat, learning that they were partaking in some ceremonial combat, and Frenzy has impressed the Skrull with her combat prowess, prompting him to make his recommendations to the Emperor accordingly, although there are still some certain issues that remain. Eric is confused by what issues there are, so Abigail tells him that the Kree Skrull Alliance hold galactic power equal to that of the Shi'ar, so declaring the Emperor's mother-in-law an enemy of the state is not ideal on their part. Eric realizes that she means Scarlet Witch, whom the diplomat knows the Emperor thinks very highly of, and finds it a great shame that the mutants do not. Eric becomes visibly angered by this and takes his leave, knowing the 6 are waiting for them. The diplomat tells Frenzy that he heard of Magneto and how he bends steel with a thought, however not his own it seems. He wonders if Frenzy knows him, and she says that once upon a time she worshipped him, but she has since moved on. Magneto meanwhile is met by Fabian Cortez, who bows before Eric, calling him Lord Magneto and showering him with praise. Eric merely rushes past the mutant, who hopes in the future Eric will want to talk to him about the Council's edicts regarding humans. Eric quietly asks Brand why Cortez is there, learning that it was slim pickings in short notice, so they hired who they could. Heading to the launch pad, Eric meets with the final 6, all led by Manifold, who says that the teleport crew is prepped and ready. WizKid tells Eric that there is a 2-stage launch, and with their help, the teleporters have enough power to get the team where they need to be. Eric doesn't take note, however, instead spotting Peeper. The mutant greets his old friend warmly, excited to see that he is there on the 6 with them. Peeper says that they have use for his eyes, as well as a need for him in the analysis offices. Eric wants to catch up with his friend properly after this test is done, and Peeper suggests they maybe grab a beer as Fabian watches the 2 friends bond, wondering what is happening. Brand calls him him to his station, since without him, none of this happens. The launch gets underway and Manifold, with the help of the other teleporters, teleports the Six into another dimension. The Six arrive at the edge of a portal, shielded by Armor's powers as they pass through the green portal and into the mystery. The team breach the other side of the portal, finding themselves in a strange dimension. They soon spot where they need to go, spying the strange triangle-shaped device that Manifold grabs a hold of. The Sword Station meanwhile is moved above Krakoa as Brand feels an ionic discharge, knowing it is too soon, calling for the teleporters to get to their stations and bring the Six home now. The teleporters activate their powers, pulling Manifold and his team back to their dimension. As the team recover, WizKid knows they broke so many cosmic laws as Manifold tells Brand he saw things no one has ever seen and came pretty close to getting the golden egg. He reveals the device he found, telling Brand they brought it back. Magneto realizes that Brand was right upon seeing the device, knowing all of this goes beyond the island and everything he has ever dreamed of. Brand knows that she was right, and this what they are doing is what comes next. Sword Issue 1 was a fantastic new addition to the ever-growing stable of X-Men and mutant-adjacent books Marvel currently has. Al Ewing delivers a really exciting first issue here that introduces us to a new Sword and a new team around it, and sets out a very ambitious mission that I am super hyped to see actually play out if it becomes true. I'm hoping we actually get also a little bit more of the politics of Krakoa in this series, which kind of got a glimpse at here, since Brand wants to expand the mutants' reach not just over Earth but through the solar system, and I don't really think that's what Xavier really wants, since it would make it harder for him to control if mutants were spread out amongst the universe. Hints of Scarlet Witch also playing some role in the political landscape, being the Kree-Skrull Alliance think very highly of her while the mutants don't, is really interesting and something I'm really looking forward to get more play throughout this series, since up until now the mutants haven't really addressed her, only mentioning her in passing and in whispers, and she's like the boogeyman to them. All in all, this was another fantastic entry into the modern X-Men books, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10.